Jai Shri Ram. Hello, everybody. This is Payal, your friend from Fiji. So, let's dive in today on how to begin on the path to spirituality. So, I welcome you all to the Gyansarovar, the Knowledge Lake channel. And just imagine yourself if you are in a place in your life where you have to have two choices between two paths, and one of these paths is like fool's gold and the other path is real gold. So the fool's gold, in much to say, is the wrong path, and it ultimately does not lead to something which is satisfying. But the real gold is a path which is satisfying at the end, or very content. So when we begin in life, we when we begin our path to spirituality, so we have a choice between two paths. In everyday life situations, the path always comes in, and it shows up every moment. So in the fool's gold path, we think about ways about how to become rich fast. But in the real gold, we talk about how to be wealthy and how that wealth can be sustained within generations. So something to note is that everybody can be rich, in if they try hard, if they work hard, everybody can be rich. But to be wealthy, it's very different. These types of wealth are carried forward from generation to generation. So this kind of wealth, it does not wither away with generations. Like you find your son or daughter who comes in and you have like a big house or something, and it goes in the wrong hands, it just vanishes, and there is no like grace of the divine on that wealth if it's not attained in the right way. But if there is grace on the wealth which you accumulate, which we call as riddhi siddhi wealth, um, then it will sustain you and your generations to come, as as a grace of God. So the fool's gold will always have a notion of be rich fast, and the real gold will be sustaining generations. That's the first point. The second point is be popular for wrong reasons. In the fool's gold, uh, a person will be popular for the wrong reasons. For example, you see many advertisements. They are promoting cigarettes, alcohol, and many other bad things, or products which they know they don't use, but they promote it anyway because it's commercial and it brings money. And if you look down into it, sometimes these products break families. It just not breaks family, it breaks the person. It reduces the health or makes them do something very different from what is normal. So these are like the fool's gold path will always be having something where somebody is popular for the wrong reasons. And you can also see like some famous singers or something, the lyrics of the songs have words which are vulgar, and which literally translates to many bad scenarios and promotes very bad scenarios, like it creates that mindset that okay, this is okay, it's all right, it's okay, you can do this, you can do this, and even if it's a bad thing. So the fool's gold path will always have um, the popularity for the wrong reasons. But the real gold, you start off being very unpopular, but then you become popular without even trying. So at first, you become very unpopular because you will be the weird one out, you will not fit, and you will go to a situation, to a crowd, and feel like you're not belonging there. The conversations is not hitting the points in your mind, and you'll become very not interested in many of the situations or many of the topics on many of the things going around. And people will point fingers and say like, isn't she weird, or even isn't she even weird, or something like that. So you start off being very unpopular, but then after a while, maybe around, you come back about 10 years after, The same people who said that you were very unpopular and they didn't like you, they start to like you, because now they see that, oh, you have been blessed in a certain way, you are kind, you are generous, and you are, your life is looking different. Maybe even if you are facing adversity, you face it with so much dignity and so much grace, and with so much strength that it just kind of irks people who are, on the other side of the path. So in the real gold path, you become unpopular, then you become popular, even without wanting it. So the third thing which the path of the fool's gold does is this, that you do things which you know is wrong and think it will be okay if it benefits you. So these are the three things which I feel that, everyday situations, if you do things which you know is wrong, and you think it will be okay if it benefits you, it just sounds very cruel. But sometimes people just are deceitful, and they do wrong things thinking that it will give you the right outcome, and it does not, because if you plant thorns, it will never give you the fruits, like apple or, some delicious fruits. It will just give you something which down the line will be very hurting. And if you the rules of karma plays along, if you hurt somebody, you get more hurt. If you give, you are blessed with more, and some things like that. So the fool's gold path is one which, you keep doing things and thinking it is wrong things which you think is correct. But what is wrong and what is right is a very thin line. Sometimes when we think about it, there's a very thin line between what is right and what is wrong. If you want to learn about how to live, you have to dig deeper into principles that hold some value to you. For example, for a Christian, it could be the Bible. For a Hindu, it could be the holy books, or it could be some gurus which you follow. So you should know, like, inside your heart, is it feeling like, okay, this is right, this is the right thing to do, or is it, that you are right? And if you are unintentionally doing the wrong things, it's all right. But if you are intentionally doing something wrong, then you cannot expect something right as a result. It will definitely be there to change your ways of thinking, and it does happen. So in the real gold path, you do things which are right, and not only right, sometimes it may feel wrong to you, but you are doing it because it is right in the eyes of God. For example, I'll talk about myself, because when I started on the path, I saw many times that in the Bhagavad Gita it was written that, we should be non-violent towards animals and things like that. But I didn't have the courage at that time, because I started off as a non-veg person. I ate a lot of meat and things like that. And then down the path, I started thinking about, like, okay, this is wrong. This is wrong. Though I like the taste of chicken or something, how do I give it up? Because in the books, it reveals to me that, there's a consequence of doing things which are wrong, as termed by the books and stuff like that. So I started to pray about it. I started to pray, and I started to say that, God, if it's something that I can do, like, give me that compassion, give me that understanding. And then later on, I was just sitting there one day, and then all of a sudden, I just felt like I was a complete hypocrite, because I felt like I was eating chicken but feeding pigeons. And I felt like, this is really weird. Why do I give life to something and then I take life from something? And both could be my pets. So that moment of realization made me a different person. And I guess that realization came from the divine as well, because I've been praying to, make myself stronger in terms of not eating or not being violent towards animals, because you have to kill them to eat them. So it's being right even though the family pressure was to not do that. And you make a choice, and then you are like, okay, from today I'm not gonna do anything like that, and you just make it in right, in terms of that. After I gave up the meat, wherever I go for 6 months, I used to smell some fish or some chicken, and I used to be like, wow, that's yummy. But I didn't not used to eat it. And because I felt like, I should be, compassionate, compassionate, compassionate. Then after 6 months, that feeling, that smell later on changed to something which was distasteful to me. So you can see that shift happened. And just knowing that it is right, it is the right thing to do for me, or it's the right thing to do for my spiritual elevation, and just making that small choice made me something different. And I feel that when you do things which you feel is wrong, or you don't, you're uncertain about, but you read somewhere that it is right, if you take the actions towards it, ultimately the divine helps you to shape out your life in such a way that it sits well with the divine alignment. So this is one. So the three things which we I will recap again: fool's gold and real gold path. The fool's gold will be like you become rich fast, you become popular for the wrong reasons, and you do things which you know is wrong, thinking it will give you the right results, but it benefits only you. The real gold path is where you become wealthy by generations, and you become popular even without wanting to, but you are unpopular in the beginning, and you do things which you feel are uncertain or wrong, but it is right with respect to what God wants. And then you just follow that path, and the path reveal itself to you, and you, not only you, but many people benefit as a result of that choice. So that is one thing. And then after you choose the path, so now we are coming to that, okay, you've chosen fool's gold path, or maybe you have chosen the real gold. Let's talk about the real gold. So if you choose the real gold path, you know that you can expect a lot of hardships, like a lot of adversities at the beginning. And this is all like a purification process which cleanses ego. There's a lot of ego deaths when you choose the real gold path, because the ego dies just like the phoenix. And the phoenix dies and then rises again, and dies again and rises again. So it happens mythologically. We think about the phoenix, who is a bird who rises from the ashes. So our ego dies 100 times if you choose the real gold path, and then it rises in another way. You rise as a person in a different way. Your spirituality rises in a different way. Not your ego, but your spirituality and your divine self rises a lot. And then you learn which from things which are hard, or think from things which are difficult. For example, when we um, when we go through adverse situations at work, somebody is like bullying you, or somebody is saying some things to you like that, then we are able to hold grace, in our lives, and we are able to deal with situations in a very different way. And this all is a cleansing process, like a soap which cleans a lot of illusions which we might have. Our mindsets are changing continuously when we choose the path to real gold. And uh, there's a natural inclination to everything which is spiritual. For example, you start liking spiritual hymns, you start reading the spiritual books, or some things, you start following some gurus, or seeing the grace and hand of God in all creation. You start appreciating life, you start so when you walk in the path, um, there's a lot of things which happens, and at the end of the day you become shaped into something so beautiful, as which has such a beautiful purpose in life. And that becomes um, you yourself become like the gold. You become so valuable to the whole of humanity, to the whole of earth and all of this universe, because now your life will be like a beautiful flower which is spreading its fragrance and helping many people tune into that frequency of spirituality. So this is where I stop, and I thank you for listening. I hope I made some sense, and I'll be happy to dive deeper into this. The next thing which I can talk about is like what are the spiritual my spiritual experiences. Maybe I can talk about that, or maybe I will talk about some of the things which you could do going forward, and then I'll try to do some kind of deconstructing different things like Hanuman Chalisa, making it more understandable, and reading my Guruji's book along. So this is something which I have in my mind. I hope you can tune in, and thank you for sparing your time today. Om Tat Sat. Thank you. Have a good day.